You guys are all expert thinkers?
I know how to climb, and that makes me very smart.
So are you an expert climber?
I think it is probably just thinking of a really good idea.
I think expert thinking is using all the facts that you have and using it to come up with a good answer.
Expert thinking is thinking outside of the box.
Thinking about things that are serious.
Thinking like an expert.
Being able to analyze and evaluate a situation.
Expert stair climber.
You're an expert stair climber?
Thinking of your own ideas and then using them.
Thinking like an expert and in an expert way.
Critical thinking skills.
Being able to think independently and creatively.
Batman.
Iron Man. Iron Man.
Well, I might be showing my age here, but I'd have to go with MacGyver. I mean, that guy could invent his way out of any situation. The way we define it at Moses Brown, expert thinking is using the accumulated knowledge that you build up in classrooms, or your expertise, if you will, and then applying it to a real-world situation or problem. The expert thinking model is a school-wide program, meaning every single teacher is now using PBL in their classrooms, and every single student, whether you're 3 years old in the nursery or a senior who's 18, is experiencing this kind of learning in our classrooms.
Simply, PBL allows for students to be mathematicians. It allows for students to be scientists. It allows for students to take the skills and content that they're learning in history and English and go and apply those out in the real world.
So whatever knowledge we are handing the student, it could be in Spanish and history, that they can put it to work in whatever field or in whatever environment they're in.
You have to think about what you know, the tools you have, and how to use them to get to where you're going.
I help them come up with their own opinions, not regurgitating, but actually thinking for themselves, but also that they're able to convey those to other people and persuade other people.
Being excited about learning and being excited about figuring out how things work, and then try to explain it to somebody else, to me, that's the most important thing.
I think the engineering, the making, the tinkering, that whole explosion that's going on is about just letting kids learn by doing.
In all, project-based learning really helped me to be more aware of the community and how what I'm learning at school actually makes it more interesting, and I'm able to say, oh, yeah, I learned about that in school and here's how I helped someone in that way, and that was really cool.
Because I feel like when you just learn from books and from words, then it doesn't quite give you all the perspectives, while projects can give you all those perspectives and how they all fit together.
Learning can be more than just sitting in a desk, I guess, and because it was such a different way of learning, it was more interesting and it focused my attention to them a lot more.
Sometimes it gets a little bit boring just with the textbook. You have to read it, just read lesson 2. It's not really, you can't really get into it that way.
So there's a place for tests and quizzes and papers, and that's part of the whole experience of being a student in middle school, for example. Project-based learning allows students to demonstrate their knowledge.
I'm not getting rid of assessments. They've got to understand that that's a skill that they're going to need in this world. But they also have to dig into problems. When I create a problem for them, it's different than when they create a problem for themselves and solve it.
To see how you can creatively combine all your ideas together to be able to just solve this problem and then just share your results that you get from that.
See themselves outside the Moses Brown school and see how they can reach out and learn.
Getting kids to see the world through someone else's eyes. How is someone else going to react to this? How is someone else going to experience this? Within my group, what are other people thinking about and feeling?
Whatever they have, whatever strengths they have, they can just bring them as they are instead of fitting it into a structure that we as their teachers have designed for them.
And you can see that that light in their eyes. They're leading each other, they're sharing their experiences and lending their strengths to one another in really, really meaningful ways.
Everyone has their own individual skill, and it gave everyone an opportunity to utilize their skill and bring it together.
You have to learn how to share your ideas and make sure that they're heard and hear other people's ideas.
I think it's really the future of learning. I think that working with people, working in a group setting is what is most important, and I think that that's a real life skill that people are going to use in the future.
Why is this important? Why are we doing this? And so PBL is a way for teachers to answer that question really emphatically, in a way that's not because I told you to or because you're going to need this in high school. It's a way that this is what people do.
One of the most exciting things about PBL is we get to see students become you know, the practitioners we're cultivating them to be, a glimpse of what they're going to be like out in the real world while they're still in our classroom.